Hey everybody, Insane Mike here, the host of Attack of the Killer podcast. First off, I just want to say thank you everybody out there who's watching for donating to our Patreon. It really means a lot that you support the show and that you want to help keep the show going and help improve the show. And it's also awesome just because we know you guys are listening and you truly care. So thank you so much. But I figured it's time I start doing some videos for the Patreon. And I debated on forever what is going to be my first video. What am I going to do for my first video? And then not too long ago we recorded our 1975 episode where we talked about the films from 75, and we did a pretty long discussion about the movie Jaws on that episode. One of the things that I brought up is that I have the old Game of Jaws game back from the original game, like back from 1975. So I thought it would be cool for my first video that I do that. All the guys on the show really wanted me to show the video so they could see this game. So that's what I'm going to do right now. This is like one of my favorite things in my horror collection, the Game of Jaws. And it's so cool because look at this box. This box is awesome. It's got like the original poster art on it. I mean, it's cropped and it doesn't have the woman swimming, but that's the original art right there, along with the picture at the bottom of the actual toy itself. And it's got that on two different sides, and then the other two sides is an artist rendition of that same cover. And then the bottom and the top of it says the Game of Jaws, Jaws, Jaws. Says that on the top and the bottom. So I love this thing for the box. It looks really cool on my shelf, and I think it's awesome. This is vintage, original game, 1975. But also what is great about this is having this is that I had this game when I was a kid, and I played with it like crazy. Now, like probably with most people, the game itself got a little tedious and boring after a while, and it ended up in the back of people's closets. But not for me. This game turned into a very important toy in my childhood, where I used this toy a lot to, attack my G.I. Joes with. They would just devour my G.I. Joes or my Mego dolls or whatever. So I loved this thing, and I played with it so much that I lost most of the pieces to it. And so when I found this at a garage sale or a pawn shop or whatever, and I got it on the cheap, I was so excited to have this thing again, and in the original box. Now I know I mentioned on the show that it's intact and has all the original pieces, but preparing for this video, I realized that is not true. I think I may only had this thing out of the box once since I bought it, but now I'm going to take it out and we're going to show it to you and just show you how cool this thing is. So this is the shark piece right here. This is the shark himself, old Bruce, and it came with like flippers that you attach and this jaw that attaches, and then like plastic teeth on the top and bottom of the jaw. And then it had like these stickers that you stuck for the eyes. There's one there. And this is the first thing that I noticed was wrong, is that it's missing one of the eyes, which was pretty common. I mean, like the stickers from my original one were like the first thing to go. And I think at one point I even drew like pupils on mine, just because it annoyed me that he had no eyes. So that's the Jaws piece itself, and then it came with what was supposed to be like 13 pieces for the game itself here, and I'll show you the pieces here. Now, unfortunately, I don't have all 13 of the original pieces. That's when I realized that, obviously my set is incomplete. Where's the other piece? Okay, so it came with a lantern, a gun, a walkie-talkie, a broken wagon wheel, a glove, a tire, a human skull, and a human bone. So that's all the pieces I have with mine. I am missing the camera. There's a jug, an anchor, a boot, and a fish skeleton. So, And I'm also missing the original instructions, which is a bummer. I would really love to have this with the original instructions. And like the pieces that came with it with my original one, those like disappeared a long time ago when I didn't care so much about the game and I was just playing with the shark. It also came with this piece here, this dental tool, and this is how you play the game. So the bottom jaw here, it's got these like rubber bands that you put in there, and they attach to the back of the shark so that so it can close shut on itself. Obviously I don't have the original bands anymore, because even if I did, those things would be disintegrated. So I tried to rig it with some rubber bands I had around the house, but it doesn't snap as shut as hard as like those original bands did. The ones I have are not as tight. And so what you would do is you take the pieces and you put them on the... Whoa, easy there. Come on. You would take the pieces and you put them on the bottom of the jaw here. And then you would take the dental tool and you would slowly, carefully remove each piece without making the shark snap its jaw shut. Here, I'll pick it up here and show you. So you hook it. You got to be careful not to drop it and not to have the shark slam its mouth shut on you. Now, it may look a little lame because again, like the rubber bands. Whoa, no! The rubber bands I'm using are not short enough. But like seriously, this thing, the rubber bands that originally came with, when that thing got too light, it would snap shut hard. Like it would like pinch your finger a little bit, even if you had your finger in there. So yeah, so I'm a little bummed out that it's not a complete, and that's, you know, but it is what it is. It doesn't really matter. Like this is one of the few times this thing's going to be out of the box because I love the box so much. This was made by Ideal Toys. Came out in 1975, and I find it interesting. It came out the same year as the movie, and Ideal must have worked really hard and fast to get this game on the market. Because no one knew exactly what this movie was gonna do financially, and the movie was obviously a ginormous success, right? So Ideal, you know, struck gold there with this toy as well. It was a pretty popular game, and the fact that they got the licensing rights to like the poster art and the title and everything for the box, and kudos to them. You know, this isn't the first game they made based on a movie property around that time frame. They also did a board game for King Kong, the Dino De Laurentiis version of King Kong. That was also a big hit for them. And then in like 1980, they did a game similar to Jaws, called Alligator, to tie into the movie Alligator. Now, I did some research online and kind of looked up the alligator game. The original Alligator game looks awesome. Like the alligator's really cool and stuff, and it's kind of reverse of what Jaws does, where you start with the jaw open and you put the pieces in its mouth to keep until it like closes shut. So a little reversal from what Jaws does, but I never had that one, but I thought it looked really cool when I was doing the research. But the interesting thing is, like, I read that it was kind of supposed to be a tie-in to the Alligator movie from 1980, and yet there's no alligator art on the original box, like from the movie or anything, not even the same font or what have you. So, but I love this thing, and I love the idea. I just love the 70s and 80s where they would make toys or games geared towards children that are based off of movie properties that are not geared for children. So I think that's awesome. I love that stuff. It's crazy. But again, that's the game of Jaws. The tagline on the box reads, "It's you against the great white shark. one wrong move, and the jaws go snap. Now, the pieces that came with this game were like blue and white. There were some versions of them that had blue, white, and yellow pieces, so more colors. And I think even on the box, where'd it go? Yeah, even on the box, it shows like some of the pieces are blue and some are yellow and some are white. So, but mine were all just the blue ones, and I think even my original one was the same way, if I remember right. They were all just blue and white. So that's it. That's it for my first video. I hope you enjoyed the game of Jaws. And thanks again for listening to the show, and thanks for donating, and we'll talk to you again soon on the next episode of Attack of the Killer Podcast.